In one of my last videos, I talked about what ASCII art is and how to reproduce it in Blender, but I actually gave you a paid file for that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't be able to afford it or reproduce the ASCII art by themselves.
Why doesn't mine look like that?
So that's why this time I'm making a tutorial on how to do the ASCII art in Blender from scratch. This is a compositing thing, and this is have to have a shader for, so you can just pop in anything, maybe a video, maybe an image, maybe a render, maybe whatever, and you can just pop out ASCII art kind of art. So yeah. Okay, so now we're in Blender, and all we have to do, we don't have to do anything here. We have to just go here, compositing mode, and now you can click on use nodes so that you would have this. We don't need render for this demonstration because I'm gonna do it on video. So I'm gonna take the video we have here and I'm gonna put it here. So we have the video here, so we are going to connect it here, and we are also going to get a viewer node because why not? I mean, because we have to see what we are doing, right? So right now it is blank because I haven't put the frames in, and now I have put the frames in, and if I make it cyclic and change the frames a little bit, I can see the video now, right? So let's take this, I guess. Yeah, this is great. So now what we are going to do is convert this into ASCII art, right? So the first thing that I talked about in my previous video, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the first thing that we talked about is scaling it down and then saving it and scaling it up, right? So that's what we're going to do. So we are going to take the scale in, and I'm just going to do it on viewer node right now. I'll just forget about compositing mode, but when you are rendering, you might want to like connect the output thing in compositing mode. Okay, so yeah, first thing what we want is like scale, and then we don't have to actually save it somewhere and then bring it back, because that's what Pixelate will do for us. Okay, and then we are going to scale it back. That's pretty much what we wanted to do, right? But the question is how much scaling we want. That's the question. That's the important part, right? So the thing is that it is dependent on the kind of pixels you want and the kind of symbols you have. Like the size of the symbols should match with the pixelated blocky image that you have. So that's why we want to do something like this. So like, first of all, we are going to get values. So this value and this value would be, what do you call it, like the image height, right? So for now, for me, it is 720 pixels, and you can actually save them, but I'm just going to do it roughly so that you can see what I'm doing, right? So this is the image height, and this is the number of pixel each symbol you have, right? Each symbol of the ASCII art, you have to put the number of pixel each symbol is taking. What I mean by that is, like, if you would have 2D grid of ASCII symbols, right, which you are going to overlay on top of like the image, basically in oversimplification. That's what we are going to do, right? So we are going to take the pixel size of each, like size of a number of pixel each symbol would have. So that's what we are going to take. So when it would make more sense to you when you would make the 2D grid of like the ASCII symbol you are going to put in. I actually already have put some. I mean that I will put some already so that you don't have to do it. But other than that, it is going to be 18 for me because I have put 18 pixel in, like, anyway. So now what we're going to do is we are going to make the pixelated blocky thing exactly the same value as this, size of the symbol of ASCII symbols, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to divide this by this, right? And then what we are going to do is what we have divided, we're going to divide this thing by the height again. So now we have this value, which is actually the value we need to make the blocky thing equal to the ASCII symbol, and you'll see it in a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to connect it here, and as you can see, it has got really small. But now that we have made it really small, we are going to make this bigger again, the same size as before. So for that, just think about it like if we are multiplying the scale here, if we are giving a multiplier, we can actually divide it here. So if we take the divide node, right, and we divide it by 1, and we take this and put it here, right, and put it in bold, we have the same image. Now it is blocky, right? And this may look ugly, but that's kind of what we want for our pixel art, not pixel art, but ASCII symbol thing, right? Anyway, so now that we have this, we are going to convert it in black and white. For that, we have this, right? So now it is black and white. So now that we have this, what we are going to do is take this and replace that by the ASCII symbol we have the 2D grid of ASCII symbol we have. So for that, I am going to put this, right? So this is the ASCII symbol 2D grid I have. So for demonstration right now, I'm just going to add it through a mix node so that we can see what both of them are looking like. So now if I connect it like this and put it like this, I'm sorry, I have to connect this actually. So now as you can see that both of them are on the same plane, and if I change it to something else, yeah, if I change it to this, you can actually see what's happening, right? So now as you can see, wait, maybe I actually should change it to something else so that you can see it better, right? Maybe we can change the values so that you can actually see them correctly. So I guess this would make sense, right? So now as you can see that it is not matching, right? It may be the same size, but it is not matching. So for that, what we want to do is actually match them, right? So that's what we are going to do. So if I change the position, this is a translate node, I forgot to tell. So if I change the position and if I put it almost at the same position we want, just 1 pixel, everything would just be matching, right? Every pixel is matching now. This is basically what we wanted to do. So yeah, so now as you can see that it is matching in the same exact place. So right now, all we have to do now is, all we have to do now is taking this as an input, as something like a mask or something, and only putting these symbols on the places it is bright, right? That's basically what a mask is. So that's basically what we are going to do. So for that, what we want to do is take a color ramp, and actually I know what you're thinking, why color ramp? I don't know. I'm just joking. You would get why I am doing it with the color ramp. It is probably because like I wanted to change. I want to put more and more. You can see. You will see it in a little bit. So I'm gonna take this color ramp and I'm gonna put it here, and you know I'm gonna put this in factor because this is a mask. So I'm going, basically what I'm telling it is that it take this as a mask, and wherever it is bright put this, and wherever it is not bright put this. But right now it is white, so let's just get it and put it in black. And now as you can see, this happened. Actually you can change it to value, and now it is looking like an ASCII art, which is great. If you want to do just this, then that's your thing, and it is kind of looking great actually, to be honest, but we want to do more than that. So if this is the kind of thing that you want, this is done, this tutorial is done, but we are going to do it more advanced way. The thing that we are going to do now is, since this is just one ASCII symbols, 2D grid of ASCII symbol, this is just one. What we want to do is actually, instead of like making it dark or bright, what we want to do is take different symbols and put those instead, so that the kind of original soft shadow the image had, we are going to replicate that with symbols. So for that, what we are going to do is actually doing this again and again. So like what we did here, we are going to do it again and again and adding it. But one thing we are going to change is actually taking this color ramp, because this color ramp would act as a kind of like a filter, which would tell you that, okay, we want to get this much brightness for this symbol, and we want this much brightness for the next symbol, and we are going to decrease it more and more until it is just like all black. So that's what we're going to do here. So for that, change the color ramp to constant, because we need constant values. So for that, first of all, we are going to do it like this. And I know it is looking really like it has changed a lot. You would think that, why am I making it worse? But trust me, it is not going worse, it is going better. So for that, for now, like we have this value, so we are going to replicate this. So what we are going to do it now is we are going to take this and we are going to duplicate this, and we are going to put it here. Okay, we are going to take this, we are going to duplicate this as well, right? We're going to connect this. Damn it. Yeah, we're going to connect this, right? And we are going to add these two together now. So if I, god damn it, yeah, if I add this with this and then put it here, you can't see it right now because I haven't changed this. So and the second thing I haven't changed is this symbol. So for that, we are going to get the second kind of ASCII symbols. So we are going to connect this, right? So now what we want to do is actually change this. And yeah, obviously I forgot to connect this as well. Now as you can see that it has changed that with different symbols. There are two symbols now, and what is happening now is the brightest one is taking the first symbol, and a little less brighter one would take the second symbol. And the more we are going to put it here, the more and more dull values it would take. So yeah, so we have to do it like 3 or 4 times more in order to make it a little bit better, right? So that's what we're going to do. And you can do this thing the same way that I did just now, but I'm gonna, make it fast and get to the main thing now. Okay, so I have done all of that. So I've added all of these. So right now what we want to do is change these and decrease this more and more. So right now the first one is like this, and so the second one would be a little bit more, and the third one would be a little bit more, right? Fourth one would be even more. Wait, this changed. Probably like this. And actually the last one could be like really close, like this, right? So now as you can see that it is looking great, right? So now what we can do is actually look at this and see what it is doing. So for now, as you can see that it is taking less space than it had before. Why is it happening? It is probably happening because while we change the scale and all the other stuff, it has actually, it has shrink itself. So what we are going to do is actually making it big. So with that, what we are going to do is getting the scale, right, and putting it before we pixelated everything. So as you can see now, it has become more detailed, but the thing is that it is now, instead of like being really small, it is cropping, right? So for that, what we can do is actually go here in this divide. Remember we scaled everything back to the original size, and what we did was like we have divided 1 over whatever the value we gave here from this, the calculating the pixel of every symbol and all the other stuff. So what we are going to do now is actually, instead of dividing it by 1 because it is cropping right now, we're going to give it a value. So that's what the value would be, right? So according to your need, you can change it whatever you want, but as far as I know, for this it was 0.750. so now it is doing great, right? So yeah, anyway, so one of the things that I actually probably am not able to see here, but actually is a problem, is that the grid, this ASCII symbol grid, is actually, sometimes what happens is that it falls short. So what I mean by that is just like, for example, this grid may be just this size and we are trying to stretch it over this whole image, right? What happens is that it falls short, and for that reason, what we want to do is actually make that like a tileable thing, so that we don't fall short for the kind of size we have, right? So for that, what we want to do is actually come here and we translated this so that we get to the exact position. So what we're going to do is actually the reason, one more reason why we are doing this is because, as you can see, that it is cutting off in some places. So we want to fix that. So what we want to do is getting one more translate. So this is kind of a trick to do it. I don't know why it was not a simple option to just tile it, but this is just a trick. the trick to tile things is getting a translate node, putting it to 0, wrapping it on both axes, and then getting a transform node, not translate, transform, getting a transform, yeah, this one, getting a transform node and putting all of this yeah, here before it. So yeah, right now the scale is 1. So what we want to do is put this scale, because this is the scale we are changing. So what we want to do is put this scale about here, so that would make a difference. But right now, as you can see, what happened is that it is overlapping, and that's because we have only put it in one symbol, right? We have to do it in all the symbols. So that's what I am going to do. So I'll show you once again that that's how I'm doing it. So wait, yeah, Shift D, and showing you once again how I'm doing it. I'm putting it before the translate node. So I'm going to connect this before here and then putting it here, and it has changed. You can't see it, but it has changed. So I'm just gonna do it for all the rest of them. Okay, so now I have done it for every symbol. So as you can see, I've put it in every symbol, before every symbol, and I've also added the scale from here. So now whenever we are changing it, and right now as you can see, it is not overlapping anymore and not cutting anywhere. And now what we can do is whenever we are going to scale it up and down, there's not going to be any problem, though you want to put it in the original value if it is not being any problem. So now as you can see that it is great, right? So for some reason, sometimes what happens is that your image doesn't have that much contrast and other brightness and other stuff for you to see it properly. So for that, what you can do is actually, before you do any kind of thing on your image, you can actually put the brightness and all the other stuff here. So like for example, if I put brightness, if I put, I don't know, maybe tone map, and if I put exposure, so these are the kind of value that I know would work better for me or for this image or video, but it would differ for you. So I will convert everything and make it more tighter and would make it look more. Now as you can see, it has more contrast, and maybe it won't look, for me it is looking better this way, but it would depend for you what you want to do for your, but yeah, for me this works better. So yeah, it depends on what you want to do and what is working for you, but yeah, basically that's what it is. And the last thing and the final thing that you can actually do is taking that last image and converting this black and white into some kind of like colored thing. So we are going to take a mix node, mix color node, and we are going to put it here. So if we change it to something like green, and if we take some different, as you can see, it has changed the color. You can put it to different ones to make different kind of color, but yeah, basically that's it. That's how you can color this as well. So yeah, this is the long tutorial of how to do it. But obviously, if you don't want to go through the trouble of all of that, I've also made a file for that, which is obviously paid, because obviously but if you don't want to go, if you cannot afford it, then that's the tutorial for you. So yeah, if you like these kind of tutorials, I've actually made more videos about it, like, you know, artistic kind of stylistic stuff. I've made more videos about it, like a cool auto filter or some other kinds of, like, you know, painterly look or something like that, which you can see it will show up right about now, I guess. But other than that, I hope you like it, and I'll be back with more.